I know all about glory holes. It's not going to work.
But if the fish is good enough, it would.
I was introduced to my first glory hole on film, Porky's. I was very young when Porky's came out. I must have been like 7 when I first found out what a glory hole was. They put their tallywhackers in them. Does anybody remember Porky's?
No. I mean, I remember seeing the VHS cover at the video rental store.
I don't know, man. Those teen movies back then were just filthy.
Filthy, yeah.
I don't think I've seen all of Porky's. I've definitely seen some scenes, but
I think that's all you need.
Well,
yeah, I feel like my generation, with the kids that started watching teen movies before they were teens, it was always for me, it was the John Hughes movies.
Yeah, me too, mostly, yeah.
So it was I was young, but they were the teen movies, and then it went rapidly. It was well, and I think I probably did in reverse, because I definitely watched Heathers very young, and then was obviously that's dark.
Yeah.
But
dark.
I feel in a more healthy, dark way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it didn't get
it was dark. It wasn't
right.
it wasn't pervy.
Right. Until American Pie came along, and even that wasn't very. That was just silly. I don't feel like teen movies are or may never be as kind of filthy as they were in the early 80s.
Yeah. Most of my inappropriate stuff was action. So it was Running Man or Terminator or
stuff.
Or Predator. So it wasn't the most the most sexually explicit was I don't know, oh shoot, what's the one where he's on Mars?
Total Recall?
Total Recall, and the 3-boobed lady, and we're oh my god, and then my uncle's you guys shouldn't be watching this, and then he would watch it with us anyway, so it's fine.
I mean, I definitely watched Blue Velvet and Wild at Heart, and just was I was 9. I was I don't know, man. I'm in it for the themes and the performances. I don't really. It was fine. I'm fine.
It all works out.
It works out, but it's true. They don't make the What was funny about, because it was you would watch movies that were inappropriate for your age, but that's because they weren't made for you. What was unique about things like Porky was that they really were made for teens, but never should have been.
No, yeah, they were hard R, and you would have to sneak in with. There's no way you can. I don't know. I have no idea how those movies made money.
But why don't we respect teenagers anymore? We should be making movies that are
yeah, we should be.
Infantilize our kids.
The equivalent now is Deadpool, where it's the audience is really a teenager.
That's true. Yeah,
it's even though it's R. Even though it's not the same. It's not the same. Look, the old days. Things were better, is what we're saying.
But we've gone in reverse, where the audience for Deadpool should be teenagers, but it's people in their 40s.
Right.
It's us. It's still us.
And speaking of Lynch, I will just say this about this week's Grotesquerie, Ryan Murphy show, which was increasingly bad. But this week it felt like he was trying to do a really bad riff on Twin Peaks. It was real.
But you knew it was bad.
Yeah, I could recognize that Twin Peaks is bad, but this is actually bad. Where Twin Peaks is
what I'm hearing is Twin Peaks is great.
It's good. Yeah.
Well, Twin Peaks is not for me. This was a bad.
This is also not
bad.
For you.
Shitty version of that. I mean, not the whole episode, but portions of it where you're oh, this is okay. You're embarrassing yourself now.
Yeah. I was watching clips from American Horror Story Asylum, And I kind of had that like moment of like, remember when this stuff felt fresh and new and fun and good?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been excited for Ryan Murphy show in so long. But man, those first few seasons of American Horror Story, I ate that up.
But Dr. Odyssey still. I mean,
so much fun.
Yeah.
when it opened up and they were still, I'm like, oh, they're really doing the theme week. It's really singles week. And so like at the end of the episode, we're like, next week it's people recovering from plastic surgery. I was just like, yes.
But like Ryan Murphy, like surely he just like produced the show. He's not like.
No, yeah, he's just, he co-wrote the pilot.
He's one of the 3 creators.
Yeah.
He might not be running it day to day, but he's involved enough to have written at least, I think, the first 2.
Did I say that he premiered like 4 shows in the last month? Does that sound right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 911 was they're still doing the B thing, and it's fantastic.
B-NATO?
Yeah,
it's B-NATO.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's great.
Is it great? Should I just go back and watch it?
I mean, I don't know, kind of. Just for the B-NATO. There's a 3-parter, and there was like the B-NATO like caused a midair collision between 2 planes, and Angela Bassett was obviously on one of the planes, and the pilot was killed, and she had to like
land the plane.
Yes, with the help of like an 11-year-old who had been studying planes all of his life.
Oh my God. Oh my
Yes.
God. Oh my God.
Great.
She didn't. Oh my God. What? Wait. How can bees cause a midair collision? The planes can go through the bees.
There were so many they couldn't see. And I think they got into the plane and maybe
and there were bees inside maybe?
Yeah, and maybe caused them
bees on a plane.
Yeah.
So is it tornado force winds, or is it just a lot of bees?
Oh, it's just a lot of bees.
Okay, so it's not like bees, but then also a tornado.
No,
it's not a sharknado.
Yeah, it's not a sharknado.
Okay. Just it was like an 18-wheeler full of bees, jackknifed, and all the bees got out. Like, that's not airplane
crashing amount of bees. Like, I
know
there
were
put a lot
thousands
of
them, but why are you taking bees in a 18-wheeler?
You have to move bees around.
How would you move them?
Yeah.
But why do you need to move them in an 18-wheeler?
Because farmers need bees.
Yeah.
Dustin,
when somebody decides to start...
Don't. I feel like you're talking out of your ass
start
here.
a colony.
No, this is true. This is
when somebody decides to start a colony, where do they get the bees?
I don't know. 18-wheelers?
Yeah. They are brought to them.
You can buy or like rent bee colonies to like pollinate your plants.
Right.
Because there aren't enough bees because they're all dying because, global warming and stuff.
And because they keep getting hit by planes.
And apparently they keep getting hit by planes.
Why are the bees wouldn't fly that high, would they? To a plane?
No.
There's no way.
No.
If the queen got like bounced up into the air, maybe.
Yeah, they would follow.
But otherwise.
Look, I feel like there's probably a lot of, logistical pits in this storyline that we probably should not examine.
Right.
But the fact that there could be a truck full of bees in the first place is not one of them.
Yeah,
bees have to get traveled. They get shipped
Dustin,
out.
they move all sorts of things in trucks.
The
best one. No, my favorite is now you've triggered this memory in my brain, and I have to talk about it. My favorite is there are. I don't know if they still do this, but this was like several years ago. There were, I think it was like satellite data from like government agencies that. There's so much data on these hard drives, like high resolution pictures from space and stuff. The data is so big, it is faster to put it on hard drives and drive it cross country than for them to try to download it.
That is
because it's just so much data. So I found this once and I was like, that should be a heist movie.
I was just thinking that. Like, oh my God.
But anyway,
Will you write that movie?
You can. Maybe. I don't know.
You can transport bees and
data heist.
Data. All right.
Yeah. By the way, the podcast has started because we started.
I totally assumed that we must have.
Dr. Odyssey was great.
Dr. Odyssey, I still haven't seen it, but I would like. Now I'm more into it. I want to see the comedy week where it's like bunch of
Oh, I bet they'll have
and like comedians just being jerks and whatever.
Did we talk about Shania Twain?
Well, that was Shania Twain.
Oh, was she on?
That was Shania Twain.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I mean, I knew I kind of recognized her, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't look it up.
Yeah, that was my feeling.
Okay.
I was like, "Who?" No, it was Shania Twain.
Yeah.
She hooked up with Don Johnson, and there was a person who was shipwrecked, and there was a bunch of stuff going on. The love triangle got like. The two nurses ended up making out, and the doctor and Joshua Jackson watched, and he was just kind of like, eh. So I'm like, so I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for romantically on this show, and I kind of don't care.
No.
I am rooting for a three-way, obviously, is the answer. I hope they all just kind of get drunk and do it, but it's fine.
But also, how often are like cruise ships asked to like go pick up someone who's on a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean?
Well, nobody asked them. Dustin.
Well, they saw. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
They saw it, and they were like, "We should do it." They were good. Yeah, they were like, "We should do that." Because that's what you do when you're at sea, and you think if you think there could be someone in a lifeboat, you got to go check it out.
Sure.
Who else is going to do it?
That's fair. And then the guy from, you guys don't watch Acapulco, the Apple TV Plus show, which is great, but the kid with the STD, he's from that show.
He's from Glee.
He is?
That's Cord Overstreet or whatever his name is.
He is?
He's from Glee.
Well, he's also in Acapulco.
Acapulco's Cord Overstreet.
Oh, yeah, that is the one thing he is known for. That was great, too. I mean, it was sort of like it was a bit of a layup.
That's Cord Overstreet? Huh.
Yeah, he grew up. He was taller than I was expecting and older, obviously, which I think threw me off because I was kind of like, his face looks familiar, but weird.
I've been
somehow.
watching that.
Because it's this guy who was playing a teen who is now like just like,
I've been watching that show for like 3 years, and now I never put that together. Interesting.
Wow.
How many people named Cord do you know?
Well, no, I didn't know his name was Cord. I don't know why. I never looked that up. I didn't care, I guess. I
mean, Dustin, maybe if you watched the show at 1x speed, you would be able to see the credits.
It's not that. Oh,
a lot of hard working.
There's the skip button
the show.
For the. So I don't have to look at all the names.
Dustin, the opening
names
credits,
like Dan Hamamura.
The opening credits of a television show is there to set the mood.
Also
remind you what you're watching if you're not paying attention. No, it doesn't matter. This was a choice. This was something chosen by the creators of the show deliberately. Like, it may not be the version they wanted, or it may not be the version you want, but it is there to make as part of the presentation of the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, who does I mean, at this point, especially for guest stars, it runs over the intro, like the first act. So you can't skip it.
I don't know.
You could only not pay attention.
Is he pouring wine in our faces?
He is pouring wine in our faces.
This is.
Right. Don't you ignore me.
The setup now.
All right, we should actually start the show officially. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Pajiba, the Pajiba Television Podcast. I'm Pajiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, our Pajiba managing editor Tori Preston.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Tori, and the trivial Lonely Island guy, Dustin Rolls.
Yeah, we're not going to get into this one again.
None of them are trivial, Dustin. No, we didn't do it on the podcast. It's fine. It's fine.
You're the one that called him trivial. You were basically like, if he's not there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count.
No, I did not say that. What
still
I said
counts even if you have this other guy.
No,
you don't have this other guy.
What I said was that Lonely Island songs do not always feature all three members. Mm-hmm. Sometimes only two of them are there. Sometimes, if you go back far enough into their catalog, if you're an old school fan, back to their Channel 101 days, Dustin, sometimes the song doesn't even have Andy Samberg.
They were on Channel 101? I did not know that.
Oh, they were there early Channel 101. They created a hit series called The Boo, which was a send-up of the OC. Sarah Chalke was in some of the episodes somehow. I don't know how, but I guess they knew her.
This is why Dan is the comedy editor.
Look, all I'm saying is that there are songs that don't have Jorma Taccone in the past. This one had besides being an SNL digital short, which, as Tori pointed out, when that title card comes up, it is generally Lonely Island. It's almost always Lonely Island stuff. It sounds like a Lonely Island song, and 2 of the 3 members were there. So
and presumably it was Lonely Island.
In summation, everyone should watch Pop Star. Never Stop, Never Stopping.
I think we can all agree on that.
Such a good movie. Yeah.
And also, I would like to eat some sushi out of a glory hole.
Yeah, they made it look
delicious
and feasible.
It was a sound business plan.
Yeah.
High grade fish served through a hole.
I'm not going to argue with this again.
No, tell us more about your superior knowledge of glory holes. Anyway, okay, fine.
All right. We've already wasted and by wasted I mean had a great time with a bunch of random TV stuff. So we should probably move forward. Dustin, what wine were you pouring in our faces?
Cannonball. We had guests this weekend, and it was Rosh Hashanah. So we had wine, and I got the $14.99 a bottle, which was called Cannonball, and at the top it says "Dive In," and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I liked it so much that I went and bought another bottle. And now I just want to drink this all the time. It's amazing. And it's red wine, which usually I don't like, but also I can't drink it that quickly. So I'm not sure I could make it through a bottle.
That's why I like red wine.
Yeah.
It's better sipping.
Mm-hmm.
Cannonball.
Mm-hmm. It's really smooth. Is that a way you describe red wine? Smooth.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm buying it. That sounds good. Was it at Trader Joe's?
No, it was at Hannaford. Well, do you have Hannaford in Vermont?
We do. We have a lot of them.
Okay. Didn't know if that was your regional chain. They don't have those in LA, I think. They have Ralph's.
No.
Ralph's
it sounds fancy.
No, they're
Hannaford sounds fancy.
Hannaford, the Kroger of our area.
Oh, okay. Well,
Safeway.
Ralph's is also Kroger.
Yeah, but tiny.
Wait, is Hannaford actually Kroger? Like it's there, they own it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's
you just mean like in terms of like
it's the equivalent of
level of It's not like Whole Foods or
no. It's like Shaw's, Grand Union, like it's whatever. Does Grand Union exist anymore?
Is Grand out here?
I feel like not out here anymore.
No,
actually, the Hannaford's is where the Grand Union used to be.
No,
anyway,
in the South we had Piggly Wigglies. I don't know if they still do, but sure was fun to go to a place called Piggly Wigglies.
That's where you'd find a glory hole.
Oh, shit. Now I spilled wine all over myself laughing. That's what I get for overfilling.
Worth it. Tori, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm having a tequila Paloma in a can.
Sounds good. As for me, I actually bought my own liquor this week because I went to Costco mostly because we needed toilet paper, and they're out because people panic bought toilet paper because of the dock workers strike that ended after like 2 days. But they were out of, even though that was on the East Coast, our docks were still open.
I didn't even realize we were supposed to panic buy toilet paper.
Well, you weren't, because toilet paper is mostly made domestically. The dock worker strike would not have affected supply chains, except now it's affected supply chains because everyone just panic bought all the toilet paper. So, but they did have Glenlivet 12 for like, I don't know, $20, which seems pretty cheap. What? I mean, I know it's not like the fancy one, but
no, but it's not $20 either.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah.
Anyway, go to Costco, but maybe not for
toilet paper.
Toilet paper right now.
Interesting. During the pandemic, we started getting the Amazon shipments of toilet paper, and we got more than we needed, and I still get them. So I've got boxes of them just piling up in the garage. So I was like, this is the perfect time for me, I thought.
Because you haven't canceled it?
Exactly. We still use toilet paper.
It's Amazon. Right. You definitely don't have to call to cancel. You can definitely.
No, I know. I don't want to cancel. I like to have like an overstock of toilet paper just in case something like the dock worker strike.
Now, the dock worker strike should
Would not.
have affected supply. I mean,
Still,
it did again.
But if something does, we're set. We can sell some toilet paper on the black market.
How much? When you say you have toilet paper stat, like how much? Like how long do you think that would last you?
I think we probably have 4 or 5 months worth of toilet paper in the garage.
Oh my God.
In a 5-person household, that's not nothing.
No, it's like 6 cases.
What do you know, Dustin, about the future?
I don't know anything. That sucked when we didn't have any. So I wanted to be ready.
Yeah.
All right. And now you will be.
That's right.
Forever.
I'm just being cautious.
When the zombie apocalypse happens and people happen upon your house,
yes,
long
I'll have
abandoned,
toilet paper.
but there will still be boxes of toilet paper.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be great though because they're all gonna be hungry and looking for like canned food, and they're not gonna find
Sorry
any.
about
It's
that.
gonna
We
be
got
like
toilet paper.
the last box of shitty mail order wine that he refused to touch, and a bunch of toilet paper.
The one French toast beer still.
Yes.
The one,
still
yeah.
there.
We did buy a lot of canned goods during the pandemic, but all we have left are chickpeas. So we have like 12 cans of chickpeas.
I always feel like I should make fresh hummus, and I don't. I did start throwing chickpeas into stuff, but I found out because Trader Joe's makes chickpeas that have like parsley and lemon. It's like Greek style chickpeas, so they're like snacking chickpeas.
Mm-hmm.
You can open the can and just eat them because they're delicious. And I'm like, man, that's all I wanted because I don't want to have to come up with a recipe for the chickpeas. I want the chickpeas to be recipe'd.
There's this beautiful recipe. I'm sorry, just an aside. It's one of my favorite things to make because it's like 4 ingredients, I think. It's olive oil. No, it must be 5. Olive oil, garlic, chickpeas, ditalini, and tomato paste. And it is so good. And that's it. That's 5 ingredients. It's like this beautiful, wonderful pasta with chickpeas in it.
I would eat that.
It's good. Mm-hmm. It's one of my wife's favorite things.
Dustin, you just said oil like Nate Bargatze did on SNL this week.
And when he said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know that people didn't say it that way. I thought everyone said oil.
Oil?
Oil.
I thought you misspoke.
No, oil.
No.
We're not like fully covering SNL this week, but I don't know. It's a fun episode. It's always tough, like your second time back, because like you're running back the favorites, and then people's expectations are higher. But I don't know. George Washington was still fun.
I thought George Washington was great. Yeah, I think Dana Carvey's Joe Biden is fantastic, and I don't know that everybody agrees with me, and I think it's wonderful.
It is.
It's good. I like it.
I think there's a lot of people, Democrats, who don't like anything that is critical of Democrats. A lot of people get really pissy about it because it's election season. I'll be glad when that's over and we get a sense of humor back.
Critical. Yeah.
I didn't think particularly either.
I didn't think it was critical. Like it's okay to, I don't know. Yeah. It's a sense of humor thing. Cause I'm like, this is not like they were poking holes at him. Like, come on.
To me, I feel like it's like residual, stress from when they were making fun of him, and it was like, oh no, that's how the country sees him, and it's and like he's gonna lose. But now it's like, oh no, that's how people see him, and it kind of doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter in the same way, at least. So I don't know. Dustin, you only gave Oakmont Classic a 5.5. I think that sketch was much funnier than you gave it credit for.
Wait,
it's the golf one. It's the golf one, murdering all the animals.
Yeah, that was funny. But it was like after the first one, it was like you just kind of knew the rest of it.
But it escalated. The things that I will say I loved about it was that it escalated. Like that escalated kind of in predictable ways, but was still fun. And then also they're cutting back to the most banal, like, thing of like a guy who just like kept missing his putts and then finally makes it, and that's kind of the end. Like that, the way that they did that was great. Sushi Glory Hole also higher than a 7 of 10, I think.
I mean, that was a pretty good 7. Look, I grade hard.
Mile High Burger 6.5. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the premise of the sketch is just to be crazy, but
But I love the food stuff and like the way they go
and
at
yet
it.
you only gave it a 6.5.
But a 6.5 is good for me.
Is it?
Yes,
That's a D.
Not for me.
You gave that sketch a D.
You know how many 10s I've given? Like 5 in 10 years.
Yeah,
maybe 10 9s. You have to be so good.
You loved Water Park and you gave it a 6. Even though that's kind of probably the right score for Water Park.
Water Park was great, though.
I really liked it.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get us on SNL, but the point is that look, Lonely Island gave us a new song, and that's nice.
Well, presumably it was Lonely Island.
Oh my god!
All right. My rebuttal in the piece you can read on pajiba.com on Wednesday. Dustin, do you have a game this week?
I do.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I always have a game.
I should sit up.
Well, I mean, it's still a new thing, so.
The girls have Hebrew school on Monday, and that's when I prepare the quiz. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right, are you ready? Oh, wait, I need to get my timer.
Do you have
here.
your timer?
Let me get
Who's starting?
Let's make it Dan. It's more fun when it's Dan. I don't know.
Why is it more fun when it's
I don't know.
Yeah, wait a minute.
All right.
Which one of us should be insulted?
I don't know that either. It just feels more natural.
Both of us somehow.
Oh, because you want a man to go first?
No.
That is what Dustin's saying.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to starting it after I finish reading the first question. Although
No.
No,
Start it when you read the question.
Then we'll
Okay.
have less to complain about afterwards.
Yeah.
You gotta-
Oh, I see. I'm trying to make them a little shorter. There's one that's a little long. But all right, here we go. Are you ready, Dan?
Yes.
All right. CBS hosted the only vice presidential debate this week. Name one of its 2 moderators.
Savannah Guthrie.
No. Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan. These 2 popular Philly set comedies confirmed they're producing a crossover episode.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Abbott Elementary.
Correct. This controversial showrunner, fired from his last job before the first season aired, was fired again this week from the show he created, The Abandons, with only 1 episode left to shoot.
Kurt Sutter.
Correct. Hulu renewed a popular reality series this week. It is called A, Mormon Guys and Their Secret Wives, B, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, C, Mormon Lies and Secret Guys, or D, All Mormons Are Secretly Gay.
B.
That is correct. Last month, Millie Bobby Brown married Jake Bon Jovi, the son of John Bon Jovi. Which Stranger Things co-star officiated the wedding?
Pass.
Matthew Modine. Speaking of Stranger Things, what popular director came out of retirement to direct episodes of the final season?
Frank Darabont.
Correct. The Office co-creator Stephen Merchant has been cast in the 3rd season of what horror series currently set in France?
Walking Dead, the Book of Carol.
That is correct.
Daryl
I'll give it to
Dixon.
you. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Finally, speaking of Stephen Merchant, his Big Talk Studios in the UK is in early stages of developing what classic American sitcom starring Kelsey Grammer?
Frasier?
Nope. Cheers.
Oh, Cheers. Oh.
Oh,
How dare you? That's
boo,
I know.
Boo.
I was joking about Daryl Dixon.
I know, but
No, I knew it was. How many other horror shows are set in France?
That's the only one I could think of.
that's pretty good. Okay, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 8. Pretty good. I am impressed that you even guessed that.
It was literally the only horror show in France that I think of. I
Well,
mean,
I
the only
didn't-
other one is like, I don't know, the shark one, and that's a movie. The
All
shark
right.
under. Oh, is that Venice? That's Venice.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready, Tori?
Yeah.
All right. You need 5 to beat Dan.
Animation question.
I need some questions that make sense.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Here we go.
All football.
After teaming up on Big Little Lies, Hulu's 9 Perfect Strangers, and the upcoming Australian series The Last Anniversary, Nicole Kidman is reteaming with what author to adapt her new novel? Here, one moment.
Oh. Leanne.
I'll give it to you. Yes, Leanne Moriarty. QVC renewed the talk show of what Cougar Town vet for a second season?
Talk show. Michelle Williams' best friend.
Yes.
Busy Phillips.
Yes. This Canadian songstress bizarrely and unexpectedly provided the introduction to this week's Sunday night game, which renewed the rivalry between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Canadian songstress?
Uh-huh.
Carly Rae Jepsen?
No, Celine Dion. This popular
Bullshit.
Netflix series, which boasts a number of Jewish writers in its writer's room, has nevertheless been repeatedly criticized for being anti-Semitic. Basically, I wanted you to see if you can remember what the name of the show is.
I don't. It's something like everybody hates us, or there's something's wrong. There's a problem. We're a problem.
That's close enough.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, right? There's something about like wrong problem.
Everybody hates Chris.
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants this. That's not a great title.
This week, Amazon Freevee scrapped plans to reboot this popular Catherine Hellman series that originally ran from 1984 to 1992.
No. Oh, but I love that you put it. Who's
I
the
know.
boss?
That's why I gave it
But
to
I
you.
love that you used her. Oh.
After 6 seasons.
Why would you say that? It's not her. It's Tony Danza.
After
What?
6 seasons, having joined during the 7th season in 2018, Cammie Crawford announced her exit as co-host from what popular MTV reality series created by Nev Schulman?
Catfish?
Correct. In order to illustrate the dangers of AI, this CNN anchor began an episode of The Lead last week with an AI version of himself.
Enrico Colantoni.
No, Jake Tapper. Let's see. Wait.
You're just going to go through the questions? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to finish these up. Bravo reality series focused on WAGs was ordered focused on WAGs of the Kansas City Chiefs. What is a WAG?
I've always wondered. I'm assuming it's a wife.
A wife and
Or a
girlfriend.
woman?
Yes.
Like as separate entities?
WAG, wife and girlfriend.
So it's a wife who is a girlfriend, or
No.
it's about wives and girlfriends? Like they're
yes. Wives and girlfriends, yes.
Every player has a wife and a girlfriend.
That's correct. I don't understand.
So it's not saying like, oh, you're not married yet, you only have a girlfriend. It's saying every player has both. Are they like a team?
I don't.
I would okay.
Listen,
like,
I
here's
don't
the thing: if
understand.
they're
It's just for the ones who aren't married. They have girlfriends.
because here's the thing: if they did a reality show that was basically The Amazing Race, but the wife and the girlfriend had to compete as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I still wouldn't watch, but I'd be much more interested in both. The football players, WAGs, and which also it sounds like they're talking about their penises. When you say a football player's WAG,
I don't know, man. But you've got 4.5.
I didn't get 5.
No,
4.5.
you got 4.5.
Are you only giving me a half for Leanne?
No, for WAG.
Are you giving me a half for? No, I should get a half for somebody hates this.
No, the whole point of that question was so that you would
Dustin,
know.
Dustin, do you know the original title of that show?
No. Was there an original title?
There was. Minus 1 point for Dustin. It was Shiksa.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad they didn't go with that because then they'd get
I would have
even more.
remembered that though.
Yeah.
I did have
probably gotten them in more trouble.
accidentally had one more question. And if you get it, I'll give you 5.5, which will mean that you will beat Dan.
Oh. Okay.
After covering all 9 seasons of its show, what popular rewatch podcast announced starting next week that it will start all over again from the beginning?
Oh, I have to know the podcast name?
What show?
A rewatch show, but it's 9 seasons of a show.
Oh, I bet I know what this is.
A show that ran for 9 seasons, so it's not Lost, and it's not Game of Thrones. Superman? No, that's what is SOC.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Dan now.
I can't tell what that is. No,
I was trying. I couldn't do R. It was Scrubs.
No, it
Scrubs.
was the Office rewatch podcast.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait, then I can't get the point.
No, I just saw the
Yeah.
C and I assumed it was. I couldn't tell what you were spelling with your hands exactly. I thought you were trying to spell the Office. No, it's the Office.
Oh. Is the Scrubs podcast still going?
I don't know. I stopped listening to it around the third season. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but they were like an hour and a half. The pandemic is over. I'd had enough of these rewatch podcasts.
Wow. Well, the Office one's still going strong, so that's great.
Yeah, they're starting all over and doing even deeper dives with more interviews for whatever reason. The tiebreaker this week, should it have come to that, and it didn't because Dan won and he's up 4-2.
I think it's a tie.
No,
I think
he's
it's
up
debatable.
4-2. The tiebreaker this
I
week
definitely knew the
was
show you were talking about.
how old is Bill Belichick's girlfriend?
Oh.
Isn't she like 21? 19.
I think that she's like 27.
Tori is slightly closer. I think it's 23.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He's like
Well,
75.
I mean, Price is Right rules, Tori gets the point. So
Wait, but is she a wag? Like, does he have a
she
wife?
would be a G.
Yeah, she is a wag. But that was the tiebreaker. There was no tie because Dan clearly won.
Yeah, it's pretty much a tie.
4-2 Dan. Dan's
We're
just
basically
dominating
the same. No,
the
we
quiz.
tied the other week, too.
Yeah, I know, and
So
I'm not
I've
even
only-
counting
It's
that.
like-
What do you mean you're not counting
Yeah,
that?
time. What?
I think you were up 3-2.
I think
and
the
then
point
you
is
had a
that
tie.
we both-
It's 4-2-1.
So it's 3-2-2.
Okay, whatever it is, I don't know. Dan is winning, and he's clearly superior. Quiz player.
I don't think that sounds right. We're pretty much the same.
No,
I just think I would like it recognized that Dan and Dustin have a more common ground in terms of their pop culture knowledge than Dustin and I do.
Good. See?
And that common ground is sports. And
Yeah.
That is correct.
That's why Dustin asks me the sports questions in an effort to make me fail. See,
But
That's
I
true. That is kind of
also
unfair,
It is
Dustin.
rigged
gave you
against
the
me.
Catherine Hellman question.
Yeah, no, that was really nice.
I mean, I would have gotten that one, Dustin.
Well,
But it was also tricky
I had
because
originally-
she is not the star of that
right.
show.
Right, but that's also not...
when I'd
that's
originally
still the show
written
you
it for
think
you, it was what Danny Pintaro series. But then I
don't even know
remember
what
that Tori
that is.
loves soap.
I love Catherine Hellman.
So
And Catherine Hellman, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
Danny Pintaro was the little kid.
No,
And he's the best.
I understand that now in context.
Yeah, you see, you never would have gotten it. I was being
No, I wouldn't have gotten it.
I was
'cause would've
being
been
nice and giving one to Tori. And even
I
with
do
a
appreciate
gimme, she couldn't beat you.
Oh, come on.
Wow. I mean, again, very close. Dustin
And I
being
said
unfair.
Canadian songstress. How many Canadian songstresses are there?
Where is
Ryan
Carly Rae
Adams.
Jepsen from?
Nickelback.
She's not a
Where is
songstress.
Carly Rae?
Carly
What the hell
Rae-
do you think she does?
She's a Canadian
she
pop
is the
star.
Canadian. She is the Canadian Taylor Swift.
Feist.
She is a songstress.
Yes, I agree. No, but she's not a
If you
songstress.
had
She's a
said
pop
what
star.
Canadian, no.
Is
If
Lights
you had said
Canadian?
what Canadian
Diva?
diva,
Okay. I just
that
thought
is what Celine
songstress.
Dion. No.
Arcade Fire, but we're not allowed to talk about them anymore.
Yeah.
Why?
And you're not allowed to talk about Ryan Adams either.
Oh, that's,
No,
true. Yeah, look, it turns out Nickelback maybe not so bad. You know,
Yeah, fair.
maybe.
I'm just saying,
So-
I should have gotten a half a point for saying Carly Rae Jepsen regardless, because she's
Because she's from Canada and you love her?
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that she's from Canada. I learned something new during this quiz thanks to Tori. So I think, you know what? If anything, Tori, I would like to gift you half a point.
I don't know. That's not something
That would be
that can be
fair.
done. No,
Yeah, that's
no.
fair because I did not know Carly Rae Jepsen was Canadian.
I knew she was
Aw,
Canadian
Dan, you're
because
so
I listened to her because Tori turned her on to me.
So you also should give me a half point for
Yeah.
enriching your life.
You should understand the difference between songstress and pop star. And also
You should
that
understand
Carly
the
Rae
sound- the difference
Jepsen.
between
Why would Carly Rae
songstress and
Jepsen have
diva.
anything to do with
Why
the
would
NFL?
Celine Dion be?
Speaking
why,
of pop
why
star.
would Celine Dion?
Exactly, and that's why it was so bizarre.
So would Celine Dion. Well, so would Carly Rae Jepsen.
Did
Oh
Celine
my God,
Dion-
all of it's bizarre.
Sing one
No.
of the Sunday Night Football songs?
No,
That was Shania or Faith?
it was Shania,
Shania.
and I think Faith Hill also did one.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, no, I don't believe Celine Dion has ever done one. Speaking of pop star, when I was going down a rabbit hole earlier today in my fury at Dustin about his lack of knowledge about Lonely Island, I was reminded that on the soundtrack of Popstar Never Stop, Never Stoppin', there's a song that Lonely Island produced with Linkin Park. It's Things in My Jeep.
Oh.
And it really took me back. And I was like, oh, I remember this song. Anyway, we should move on because
I think we should end it because I don't think we're ever going to ever have a better episode than what it has been so far.
We should talk about Survivor at least.
Yeah, we have to talk about
Survivor.
Yeah. Although I don't really remember. I had to look up to remember who got voted off, and then like things came back to me. But it was like kind of a
No,
I mean, it was
a good chaos episode.
I like both people that were on the chopping block a lot, and I was really sad to see either one of them go.
Yeah, I mean the internal politics of that tribe that led to that were like not fair. Like
really, there's some ageism. Like now that I'm old, there's some ageism going on in the show.
But there's always ageism on
it's fucked
Survivor.
up.
Yeah.
Saul is clearly the best player on all of Survivor this season, and they were about to get rid of him because he's a little older.
That's also what. No, I think it seemed like they had some other vendetta against him. It was odd, like why they just hated him.
Yeah, why? Because he's
what did he do?
I feel like the real reason with Saul, I mean, outside of who knows if there's like a personal conflict there, but it does kind of feel like, I mean, he is a threat.
Because
I would feel threatened by him. Yeah. And you want to get the strong people out.
He's the Alabama teacher from last year, this season's Alabama teacher.
Yeah.
Remember that guy? I love that guy.
Yeah, Hunter,
yeah.
I think Hunter was more dominant or showcased more dominant. I mean, I'm not saying Saul couldn't be that. I'm just saying, like, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. But they do have a similar, like, Hunter was not as good at the social aspect. He was a bit more reserved, and I do see Saul kind of, like, doing that. Which is also hard because it's just like the third episode, like, you know. But this was much more like Rome is crazy pants.
Yes.
And you have a group of people who want to team up with Saul and Aisha, but like also know they can't really go against Rome because he's got so many advantages. And so they're just kind of like,
that's insane.
stuck.
Those advantages are temporary.
Right. But I mean, Teeny, who is kind of like who has gotten all of the intel from Rome.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if nothing else, she and Kishan know that he's not going home this vote.
Right.
Because he had the idol that he could only play this week.
Right.
So knowing that, you can't really go against him unless you're willing to go to rocks, maybe.
I guess so. I don't know. Everything is so feels like the election, and I'm like, why are you aligning with this crazy person when there's like this reasonable, awesome, great person that is, but
somebody was going to go, and
I hear
you know, to their credit, they tried to help Aisha, and like,
but also Aisha was
she
great.
just wasn't here. She was great, but between her and Saul, I was happier she went home.
Oh yeah. Fair,
I will say that because I was like. That was based purely on like they didn't have that conversation with Saul. They had it with her, and she didn't play it right.
Right.
Like she didn't pick up what they were laying down, and they tried.
And she's the one on the Survivor podcast. And she should have known better, I assume.
She should have. Yeah, I'm kind of like of anyone, she should have known better.
It just feels like
the advantage that. The other advantage that Rome got is like, so the idol only works for this week, but that like extra vote thing is going to, that can crop up at some point and really do some damage. So I understand Teeny like playing her game the way she is.
He's so obnoxious though.
No, I know he's terrible, but he's going to be so entertaining.
Yeah. Also, I think, I mean, you know, Rome is coming across as obnoxious. He's also getting a very heavy edit of like anytime he's doing something that could be perceived as obnoxious. They did a literal supercut in the third episode so, you know, he's giving them the material, but also, I mean, that's the character they're crafting.
Yeah.
Also, I was shocked to discover this episode that his number one is technically Genevieve because
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that
same.
like
on
she
the
just
tribe.
hasn't been a presence yet. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. That like, even though I know he wants to work with Teeny, but like Genevieve is kind of his number one right now. Anyway,
I feel like, aren't we like around this part of the season is when they have like a weird tribe swap, and this is where like players we like inadvertently get on the wrong team and get voted out, but maybe not.
Yeah, it's usually around. I feel like they're at the point now where, because they started with 18, they're down to 15. It might be one more that they go to 2 tribes, or they might do a full shakeup where it's 3, right? Because
they have this weird thing where they like send one player to or 2 players to another.
Oh,
they
right. They did that last
swap
season.
around 2 players.
Yeah,
and somebody gets completely fucked over by it. But it also feels like a Hail Mary to save somebody that it's in danger, and it just backfires.
Yeah.
Last season, there was that really great showmance. Wasn't it last season? And the guy got sent off and was eliminated ultimately by his girlfriend who wouldn't throw a challenge. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't remember the very adorable showmance between the 2 dorks?
What?
There were so many dorks.
The 2 dorks that had like this big showmance.
No, Dustin, that was like 5 seasons ago.
There's no way that was 5 seasons ago.
It was not last season. Last season was Chaos season with Banu and
Maybe
Jem
it was
and
2
Q.
seasons. Okay, fine. It was 2
No,
seasons
2
ago?
seasons ago was Austin. No, 2 seasons ago was Austin and D.
Yeah.
They didn't have a showmance.
You're thinking of like 3 seasons ago.
All right. Well, whatever.
At least.
That
and they're
guy,
still together, by the way. They
are?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's why Jeff teased it, because after the show ended, they were still together. I think he moved to Chicago for her or something like that.
Oh, that's so great. They were so good together.
Meanwhile, Austin is dating Jeff's niece.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Worked out for him.
Wait, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure that was season 40. No, 40.
Time has no meaning, especially when it comes to Survivor.
Yeah, it was 44. So we're on season 47. This was season 44, which was spring of 2023.
Jesus.
That was
this was
Matt
pre-Tori.
and Franny.
Oh, Matt and Franny, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt.
That was the season that unfortunately Jam won when it should have been Carolyn, but she couldn't explain her game.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe Jam and Carolyn was pre-Tori, because you would have loved that season. It was a really, really good season.
They're all good.
Well,
can I tell you? Well, one of my favorite things going on right now is that Rome, as part of his terrible being annoyingness, is a horrible liar, but thinks he's great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that continue to play out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Saul's reaction to him was
like,
and the look on Rome's face.
Fucking.
Like, it was so good.
Also, we're like, we've got through 3 episodes and Andy is still there.
I mean, it does seem like he is. So the big thing that he did this week was he kind of promised Sierra that he would, if they went to tribal, he would give her his shot in the dark, so that like he couldn't play it, and like being like, here, I am giving you trust. And I don't know, it's starting to feel, and again, who knows based on edit, but it does feel like, at least for this week, Annika and Sam are butting heads so much that like that's going to become the conflict in that tribe.
Yeah.
And Andy might be able to skate by, and especially if he's aligning himself with Sierra and Sam, then all of a sudden that's 3. That's enough. I mean, outside of a swap, which could be happening next week, that like all of a sudden that's a majority. They can do what they want.
Yeah. But one thing that's nice is like Andy is continuing to not do well during the challenges either. Like there's no redeeming quality to him other than people thinking that he's loyal, which again, based on what he did with John, he clearly is not.
Right.
So it's kind of like, if you align yourself with Andy, knowing that not only is he completely unstable, but he's also like not loyal.
Terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
he looks like he might be good at challenges, but he's really terrible.
He's really not. he's really kind of just a big failure. So I really think he's going to be the albatross. Like, I think he will make it surprisingly far in the game, and he will probably end up either, intentionally or inadvertently taking out a lot of other players just by like association with him. I think he's unlucky.
Well, Banu went out episode 4.
Oh God!
So I guess although he was technically that I'm looking at last season's just like structure the vote outs. Randon was medevaced 3rd episode, so that's why
that's spared.
It probably would have been a vote out. I forget if Yanu was up for it again, but anyway.
Well, they were, because it was the past 2 seasons. It's one tribe of the 3 just kept losing the challenges. And so this was really unique because at this point, every single tribe has gone to tribal once.
Right.
See, there's really a lot of different ways the game could go. You don't have one tribe that's down to like 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also that reminds me that I think I'm getting this fact wrong, or partially wrong probably, but like this might be the first time, or if not, it's the first time in a long time that each tribe has lost one person without it being a medevac. So this is I think this is the first time that with 3 tribes that each one loses one person by
interesting.
Yeah.
What else was interesting this week? And I don't think that we typically do not see the teams before challenges strategizing about who goes first and who goes last. And they specifically went out of the way to show that this week, and the little conflict between Rome and Saul. And I thought it was going to be like a big thing where one of them fucked up, like Rome. Like when Saul said, fine, I'll let you go first because I thought he would have this big fuck up, but he didn't. And neither did Saul.
Right.
No, well, and that's the thing.
But we did see
Rome
Andy not do great.
Yeah,
I know, but that is true. But why did they go through the whole process of that?
To show, because I think that was really the start of, that was the first hint at like, oh, Rome is gunning for Saul in Asia. But like, I do think that there is something about, and that I think is what makes Rome an interesting player. Like he's so annoying, but he has just enough skill to back him up. He is not nearly as good as he thinks he is, but he's not bad. Like he's, like in challenges, in finding stuff, like he's this really interesting combination of like, he's way too cocky. Like his arrogance does not match his skill, but he is skilled enough to still be a threat regardless of what you think of him. And that was the thing. Like he still did well. Yeah.
And that was, I mean, it was a nice thing to show like their, just like the conflict that they're going through. And I mean, I don't know, it's a fun wrinkle because it is.
No, I thought it was interesting. I just assumed that it would play out immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the first time we've seen it in US?
I don't recall ever seeing them.
Okay. Cause I have seen it.
They always just kind of skip over that part.
Just to say Australia.
Yeah.
Australia will do it to build the drama. So.
Oh. US should do it more too. If they're going to have hour and a half long episodes, give us more drama.
I mean, I would imagine that most of the time it doesn't add to the story, but in times like this where it does, I think that's great.
Are you guys going to try out the summit this week, or is that too much reality for you, Tori?
Too much.
You know who likes it?
I've actually seen it.
Oh, have you? Roxana likes it.
I've seen the first episode.
Yeah. She has good taste.
Yeah. It's wait, Dustin, have you seen it?
No. Wait, is the first episode aired?
They previewed it a couple times, So even though I think it's going to officially premiere maybe
after
next week,
Survivor.
But
but they've done some sort of preview.
Yeah, it is. I feel like Roxanne. I don't know. I don't want to paraphrase her review, but it's compelling. I don't know that it's good. Like I don't know that I'm like. There's something about it. It kind of like straddles this line of like, it's a real life, like legitimately life-threatening challenge if you fuck up potentially, but has like the artifice of a reality competition show. so there's something about that where it's like it somehow feels fake and too real, like it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But
Well, she
it is
suggested that
compelling.
these people didn't know what they were signing up for.
Oh, there's that too, where like some of the, like, again, this climb is tough enough that you need to train for it. Like it's not the kind of climb that, I mean, and not to spoil any, I mean, this isn't a real spoiler, but like there's one person who like gets medevaced out like day one.
Oh shit.
Because it's like and I mean, like, they have their story and it's inspiring and whatever, but it's like, you're not built for this. Like, not yet. Like it's not that you can't do this, but like coming into this without training, you're not ready for this. And
so these people are not experienced climbers.
it doesn't seem like it. I mean, like half of them are either like ex-military or like athletes of some kind, or, maybe they were athletes when they were, like maybe like younger or whatever. But some of them seem very like ordinary person in a way that I'm like, oh, I don't think, I mean, even if they told you what you're getting into, I don't think they prepped you properly. But
Interesting.
I don't know. It's still well made enough that I'm probably going to keep watching.
The Australian version, the original, I think it was like a huge hit. I think it was Australia. I found the whole premise compelling.
Yeah.
But like, do you think that them not knowing what they were getting into, was that like intentional on the producer's part, or do you think that was just?
I think they knew what they're getting. I think they're just playing.
Okay.
That's my read on it.
My whole thing is like, you can't really like make a show based on that, because even if it works for one season, everyone will know by season 2.
Right.
So like that is out the window.
Yeah. The only show that works for is the classic reality show Tool Academy. But even then, it only lasts for the first 5 minutes, and the rest of the show you don't have to watch. Also, you'll be happy to know I'm back on my bullshit. I found I found that season 2 of Traders New Zealand.
Oh my god!
Exists in the world.
God.
It's not on Peacock yet, but is
this
out in the world.
A New Zealand version distinct from an Australian version?
Yeah, New Zealand is its own country, Dustin.
I know
Jesus
that. I just
Christ,
that's
Dustin.
insane to me. But it's like, Canada?
Why?
Does Canada have its own traders?
Yes.
2 versions.
Oh my god!
English speaking and French speaking.
That's too much fucking traders.
And it's the same host because she's French Canadian. And she's bilingual, even though she's better in French.
Way too much traders. And yet, love them.
Not enough. So I'm not done yet, but I think I'm like 3 episodes in, and it's pleasant so far. Part of it is that season 1 of New Zealand was good, but what kind of held it back was that New Zealand, that one was more like local celebrities, and they all knew each other. Like people were playing like, oh, I know so and so, and he's lying or she's lying because I know when they're lying.
It's so insular.
And this one is much more like UK. This season, where it's all random people who don't seem to know each other. So.
Okay,
but it's so funny that
at least so far,
particular format is what you love so much. Have you watched the Survivor in various? I mean, besides outside of Australia, I know there are some other countries.
I've watched a little bit of UK. That's kind of it.
Just really have it in for the traders.
It's just I think to me, I think the appeal with Traders is that out of all of these shows, it feels like the one that's the most like you can imagine yourself there. Like Survivor. I mean, you can imagine yourself on Survivor or on Big Brother or a show like that. But those are like, those are such intense circumstance. And it's not that Traders is not, but I feel like enough people have played Mafia that you understand, you have a sense of like, okay, here's how the game works. Like Survivor, I don't think any of us actually understand how the game works. Even though we can watch it, we can be like, oh, this is what I think I would do. But like, I don't know, you're on an island and you're starving and you're not sleeping.
Yeah. No.
But Traders, like you've played Mafia.
Yes.
You have a rough idea of like how you think you would operate.
Right.
I totally thought I could be a person who could be on Survivor until I heard about the bugs. And then I'm like, nope, I will never go on Survivor.
I think it's easier now.
The bugs?
Less so.
Like
Isn't
mosquitoes and bugs and like...
Oh, yeah, but I mean...
I can't deal with that.
Fiji's still better than like...
Sure.
I don't know. It's not like the Outback where they were like starving and
Plus,
like, running out
when
of
John
water.
Lovett is old, like where does that leave me? I'm fucked.
My problem is I don't want to sleep in like a puppy pile on bamboo. Like I don't want to touch other people when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound appealing.
Like
And
strangers,
poor Sam
especially
is
because
like,
as it goes on, they smell worse.
yes. And people are like, Sam's girlfriend or fiance or whatever back home is like fucking freaking out because people are assuming that he's with that other woman.
Well, she's back. So, I mean, he's back. So it's fine.
I know, but still.
Yeah, but now she gets to freak out if something did happen.
Right.
Like, honestly, she should worry. Like, why did he hook up with the hot blonde chick as a partner?
All right, we're about to run out of time.
She's like, oh, well, when I get home, I better be engaged. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, my God. Those two are messy. I'm like, I kind of hope, as much as I was like, oh, they got to get rid of Andy, I'm kind of like, I hope he takes down Sam and Sierra first. Like, I'm fine with that. Wait, before we run out of time, okay, I know we can't talk about all of our shows, but can we at least talk quickly about the franchise because it is the new show?
We should at least talk about the
at
franchise.
Least talk, yeah.
Dustin, did you watch or no?
I did watch.
You still watched.
Oh, okay.
I did not dislike it as much as I thought I was going to dislike it.
Bingo. Yes. It still kind of has that Avenue 5 thing of like, I can't tell if I'm going to like the season or if it's just like a lot of people that I like in a premise that is interesting.
Yeah.
Like I can't, that first episode, I really wish they premiered 2 episodes. Like I need more to kind of decide. But it's fantastic cast.
Yes.
As Dan pointed out, from the creator of one of my all-time favorite comedies, Cuban Fury.
Yep.
Shut up. Shh. What?
John
Why is that
Brown,
funny?
who co-wrote Cuban Fury.
Cuban
Co-wrote
Fury.
Cuban Fury. Yes.
Yeah.
Where Nick Frost is a salsa dancer.
All right.
And Ian McShane is his dance instructor.
Yeah.
And
Rashida
Olivia
Jones
Colman is
in the movie.
Yeah, Rashida Jones is the love interest. Chris O'Dowd is the love, whatever, like
My only
bad guy.
The only thing I know about this is
Olivia
the movie
Colman
poster
is the
you
sister.
guys sent. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Kayvon Novak from What We Do in the Shadows is one of the other dancers who becomes a friend. And it's,
that's great.
Oh my God. The movie is fantastic.
There were some really good lines. I don't think I liked the show as a show, but I really appreciated a few good lines. Yeah. And that joke at the end is pretty funny.
Yeah.
The show business joke.
So so it's created by John Brown, also among the producers Armando Iannucci and Sam Mendes, who directed the first episode. At least the first episode. I don't know if he directed more, but it is a half-hour comedy on HBO with where it's following the crew creating a superhero movie, but they're like, they're satirizing that. Our hero is Himesh Patel. From many things, including especially Station 11.
Yes. We know Dan.
He's the first AD on the movie. So he's
which is like the worst job.
Right.
It's just generally the worst job on set. But I mean, Aya Cash is in it, Billy Magnuson, Richard E. Grant, Daniel Bruhl. I mean,
it's a great
Jessica Hines.
Yeah, Jessica Hines. She's so good.
Yeah.
And it's just like a really, I don't know, it's one of those where I feel similarly, I think, where I don't know if I like it. I feel like it's right on the border of being too inside baseball. Like watching it, I was like, oh, this is actually too accurate.
Yeah.
I think in a way that like it doesn't feel funny because like it more just feels anxious to me.
Right. Yeah, because it's not necessarily that there are punchlines. It's like the whole situation is ridiculous, but it's so believable that you're kind of like
the producer
I watched it and I was like
that said superhero fatigue is not a real disease. I mean, it's
no.
terrible.
But I will say, like, the one for me, the moment where I was like, this could work was when so the movie that they're filming is like Billy Magnuson is like the sort of insecure but cocky, like young star who's like the hero. And Richard E. Grant is obviously the like grizzled theater, guy who has been hired to play this hacky villain.
Yeah.
And there are more the light rig that they added because the suits want the movie to be more bright. They added an extra light rig and it gave them both eye sunburns.
Yep.
Yes.
And so they're temporarily blinded and they just look horrible. And you have the director and the AD trying to figure out how to hide it from the suits that they've just like blinded their actors, while the two actors are arguing with each other and refusing to go to the hospital in the same ambulance.
Yeah.
And that was so ridiculous it worked, but also
Yes.
I'm like, the whole time you're watching it and you're like, is this actually like, it's the stuff that I want to hear about Marvel. Like, are we finding out things that actually, like, they're selling them as jokes, but it's like, no, this is stuff that has actually happened in these movies, and none of it is fiction.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it does like one of the other minor plot points that causes stress for everyone was when the studio rep shows up and says, "Oh, good news! The movie that's going to come out before yours killed all of these like side characters that you've built your movie on, and now you have to get rid of them somehow."
Yeah,
and the
like you
director's
can't
just
have them.
What do you mean? Like we're doing this. Also, I liked Daniel Bruhl, and I don't know who was playing his cinematographer, but their relationship just felt very appropriate to me, where the cinematographer is just kind of like hanging out, and then he's told like to change the light. He's like, okay, whatever. He just like brings in the light that blinds everybody.
Right. And I like that. So it's Daniel Bruhl is playing the like artsy, like indie director who has been given this opportunity. And so like the episode starts and you think that he's actually got some kind of power in the scenario. Like he's the guy that they, that the studio wants. Like they're really going to back him. And by the end you realize like, oh no, this guy is going to be completely disillusioned. And he is he is just a cog. It doesn't matter how like, I don't know what the arc of the show and that humor will be. If it's, I think they have to do a little bit more, but it is still interesting because it is so believable. Yeah. and the actors are great. Like, and I want to see more of Aya Cash.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to hate it, and now I'm going to watch it.
Yep.
I feel like I don't know if it will be, I don't know if this is going to end up being something that so far it doesn't feel like something that I'm going to revisit. I mean, like after watching it once so far, I mean, we'll see. But it did like go do just enough that I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and
I want
also
to see another episode.
Like 28 minutes episodes a week. I can handle that. Sure.
Yeah. 28 minutes just to get a few scenes with Richard E. Grant in like a ridiculous villain outfit. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Superhero fatigue is not a real disease. I'm sorry.
That was great.
Crack me up.
I really like Daniel Bruhl just like throwing a bunch of random curse words in front of Jessica Hines before he goes to meet the suit.
Yeah. He has to get it out of the system.
Yeah.
And
like her kind of like infatuation with him is great.
Yeah.
And the conversation about tent poles was very funny.
I thought we were a tent pole. Tents have many poles. No, I did. I really liked the Don't Take Them to Studio P, where we have like 40 very expensive Japanese cherry trees that we imported before the scene was cut. Mm-hmm. And it could fund a children's hospital, but we're trying to hide it. And then the suit going like, I know about Studio P.
Yeah.
Like just the overspend that happens.
Yeah. Which unfortunately is true sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, I'm curious how it's going to pay off, but the fact that like the kind of like Kevin Feige character is like on an iPad and has an assistant there as like his stand-in to like relay messages. I don't know. That was also entertaining and felt appropriate. And I'm curious to see like if that joke evolves beyond where it is or, but
yeah. Yeah, again, it's just I keep coming back to like, if nothing else, the premise is interesting enough and the cast is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, if it continues to do just what it's doing, I'll still probably watch it. I think it has the potential to do something more.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it does. Like, I hope it develops and deepens a little bit more. But like, even at just the surface level, like insider baseball thing, like I'm kind of like, it's not a bad way to spend less than a half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it were 40 minutes, I wouldn't do it. But
it would be harder. Yeah.
I'm in.
Whatever. Even a 40-minute show is under a half an hour for you.
Kind of, yeah. All right, end it, Dan. We ended on a high note. We got high notes.
All right, we got high notes. This is a chaotic episode, but a lot of fun. Tied for the second week in a row in the game. Yep. Crazy ending.
There was no tie.
We'll be back
next week.
There was
absolutely no tie. Dan crushed.
Nobody's problem is this. Everybody
won or lost.
What was the name of the show? I already don't remember what the name
is. Secret Lives for Mormon Gays.
Dustin, I felt like on that question you were just trying to confuse me by like the fact that you made it multiple choice was trying to make it harder.
Yes.
You're just trying to flood the zone with weird stuff. You're just like a Republican pollster.
Okay.
He's flooding the zone with a bunch of junk data. Anyway, we'll be back next week. Have a good night.
Good night,
everybody.
Tied for the second week in a row. Amazing.
Woo-hoo. We're great.
There was no tie.